Welcome back to the Slate Show. We got week 2/3 for some teams for college football and the start of NFL tonight, at least, and then all the games for the rest of the week. We're just going to go ahead and ignore last week for the bets. That's about all I'm going to put or say on that.
Yeah, some of us had excuses, some of us didn't, but that's fine.
My excuse was they didn't hit. So now, if we want to get into other picks, I'm killing it.
Yeah, straight up game day style. You're 9-1, so it's not all bad.
Yeah, I'm going to knock on some wood. If only odds were pretty good instead of like Georgia minus 1,000.
Right. Yeah. I did find some closer spreads this week. No minus 17s in there.
Yeah. That hands up. God.
Stetson Bennett non-believer.
I should have went with what I said on the pod. None of y'all would have known the difference except for me. Yeah.
He texted me. He was like, I said Oregon, right? I'm like, no, you verbatim said Georgia minus 17. He's like, well, I meant Oregon. And I'm like thinking, are you sure? And so he, to his credit, went out and clarified it, and they lost by like 100. So
sure enough. Yeah. Lost me a bet and then lost their spot in the top 25.
Yeah, that 16 spot ranking drop was a little ridiculous. We covered that on the recap that we put out
between
today.
That and Michigan jumping up to 4 from 8
for beating mighty Colorado State.
Yeah,
with a quarterback who might not even start.
No, he's not starting this week.
So
well, yeah.
Right. No, it's McCarthy this week.
So yeah. Guess getting into it, to the records last week. The straight game day picks. I went 4-1. We all missed Utah. Which was, looking back at it now, I should have known.
Yeah, I mean, all the danger signs were there, but I mean, if you don't throw a pick to a tight end laying on his back, then we might be talking a different story. But yeah, me and Jacob had the Fighting Chase Bryces. They lost to Heartbreaker as well, so that put me and him at 3-2, and you at 4-1 with those.
I ended up live betting that game, or like just a self bet, and I did because it was right before the game started and Downs got announced that he wasn't playing. So the spread flipped to UNC plus 1.5. And I was like, yeah, let's hit it.
Yeah, that was a good call there.
Yeah, but of course we don't talk about those because they're not on the show.
No, of course not.
Can't talk about our winners, apparently.
No.
Overall, I'm 9-1. Grayson's a respectable 7-3, and then Jacob slowly catching up at 3-2.
Yeah, compared to my other record, I will take 70%.
Yeah, I think at the end of the year and like standings, if we tweet them out and stuff like that, we're just going to do it based off percentages, but have the records there so that be known.
Right.
Just so Jacob can get included.
Full transparency.
Yeah. And I guess betting picks also.
Jacob was Heartbreakers.
Jacob was the only one that hit one.
With
me
Georgia,
and Grayson. Yeah. Me and Grayson both went 0-3.
Right. I mean, to be fair, like miss-wise, I mean, Jacob took the point with App State when it was there. They lost by 2. Arkansas plus 6.5, lost by 7.
I thought they lost by 1 because the 2 point. No, the 2 point that first was to go.
The first one was.
Okay. All right.
And I mean, you technically had Georgia, meant Oregon, and then again corrected it. Utah 4 in total went under by 0.5 point.
That's a bad beat. That sucks.
That was awful. I don't think anybody saw Ohio State Notre Dame landing on 31, so I wouldn't say that's a bad call either.
It doesn't help that Olave missed most of the game. Or not Olave.
Smith and Jigba, yeah. He was on the bike on the sideline like immediately. So hopefully that injury ended there. At App State, like Jacob had him straight out, didn't quite get there. Game of the week, I think. Everybody hopefully has seen the end of that game by now. Illinois plus 2, gave up a touchdown with a minute left to lose by, I think, 4 after settling for a field goal, something dumb like that. Shout out to Brett Bielema for that. And then I also had the Utes laying the 3 points. And as I mentioned, Cam Rising throwing to people laying on the ground is not a good way to win a game. So frustrating, but
not a good start for our playoff teams.
No.
So, yeah, but we think we went over it in the other show, but Pac-12 still has a chance kind of outside. USC kind of has to go undefeated now, and they
Right.
need
And
help. Utah needs help.
I mean, we'll get to USC later, but their game this week is not a pushover by
No,
any means. So
not at all. So, I mean, might as well. You want to go ahead and get right into it for college football at least?
yeah, looking at week 2, we do have some early slate action tomorrow, Friday. Louisville heads to UCF to do battle with the Fighting. Oh, wow, I got mixed up again. If you caught our show the other night, it's Gene Chizik can
Fighting.
remind me of the other one. It's not Gene
Jeff
Chizik.
Scott.
It's
Gene Chizik. Oh, Gus Malzahn.
No, it's yeah, thank you. Gus Malzahn against Scott Satterfield, and two coaches who hopefully will do enough to keep their jobs. If Satterfield drops this one after that Syracuse performance, we may hear some rumors coming out of Louisville.
Yeah.
And Boise State plays New Mexico in a yes, it's football, I guess I'll watch it type game a little bit later on, like 9 o'clock is kickoff for that game. So
yeah, that I saw that on here. I'm like, I have no input for that game.
no, you turn it on, fall asleep, and then that's it.
Yeah.
But I think the game of the weekend, at least as we sit here on Thursday afternoon, Alabama heading to Austin to play Texas, and Nick Saban's third true road game against a non-conference opponent since he took over at Alabama in 2007.
That's about time. It's played at noon too, so I guess it's the big noon kickoff.
Right, yeah, that Fox package, they get that at noon.
Yeah.
That non-conference game stat is something I've looked up 20 times to make sure it's true because it sounds just so ridiculous.
It sounds ridiculous, but when you think about it, it's the SEC. They rather have their narrative about their superior conference, so they don't want to go to it. Two games.
Right. I mean, Alabama's played like Duke
Yeah.
recently in an NFL stadium, just to avoid not they'd ever go to Duke, but they played Texas.
They played
in a similar
Florida
situation.
State in
Yeah,
Orlando.
Florida State.
But I did see, I was watching TikTok earlier, and then, or it was Twitter, one of the two, and a reporter was at Nick Saban's presser, and he was like, "You do know that the horns down sign is a 15-yard penalty, right?" He's like, "No, I actually did not know that." I mean, he's like, "We got a lot more important things to worry about for this game, but that's actually something." He was like, "That's actually something I do need to go with."
I can absolutely see like 6 guys on kickoff coverage for Alabama sticking a guy at the 15-yard line and then throwing that up on national TV and then all getting flags, and Nick Saban just blows a gasket up, 17-0, 10 minutes in. But I think it shouldn't be a flag. I think it's
stupid.
It's a little bit, it's special treatment a bit towards Texas. Maybe don't say you're back after a bowl game if you don't want to catch the heat.
Don't have your own TV really network that nobody can watch.
Right, and that's so
it's like I mean, Quinn Ewers' first game was on the Longhorn Network. Nobody's able to watch that.
Watching that now. And the opponent they had scheduled, I couldn't even tell you who it was. It was nothing.
Rice? It wasn't Rice.
It might have been. I could not tell you.
Yeah.
But yeah, first huge test for Ewers and the Longhorns. They got Bijan Robinson. They're going to need a huge game from him to keep this close. The spread's 20, so I did leave it off of the of the picks later on. But I mean, do you think there's any chance of an upset here by Texas outright?
No.
I
thought long and hard about it, but no.
I tried for a good 25 minutes, talked myself into it, and I can't do it.
Unless Quinn comes out and is just Johnny
hair on fire. Alabama's defense just for some reason can't contain it. They've had some injuries at wide receiver too, so that's not as strong of a unit as it could be. But I don't see it. So
no, not at all.
For that reason, in the 20-point spread, that will be left off of the straight up picks later on.
Yeah. So logically, we're taking Bama, so we can have in the parentheses.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it seemed a little bit too easy. But 2 games a little bit tougher. One of them we will pick later. Arkansas is going to host South Carolina, and Florida is going to host Kentucky, 2 SEC East teams coming off huge opening wins. They get tested to a degree immediately to replicate their performances from last Saturday. What do you think about those 2 games?
The Florida-Kentucky one is very interesting to me. Like you were mentioning, Florida's got to see if Florida can come back after that big win against Utah. Kentucky's got a lot to prove this season, too. God, I cannot think of their quarterback's name. He's the weird dude.
Will Levis.
Yeah, Levis.
Mayo and coffee.
Yeah. This is a good quarterback matchup. He's got a lot to prove.
Very
like
good.
if he's a top 5 SEC quarterback, that's a good game. It's a rivalry game.
But
But the Arkansas USC game, yeah,
That's two struggling quarterbacks, at least out of the
yeah.
gate. KJ
But
Jefferson,
yeah, I
pretty
think
uneven in the opener. So
yeah, that's the thing. I don't know which one of those two is better because Rattler just didn't look great. I mean, threw two
no,
picks, had a low QBR.
yeah, right.
They got kind of bailed out with the 2 block punts for touchdowns. I think the spread of that one's like 8.5 in
Yeah, it's a
favor.
bit over a touchdown in favor of Arkansas at home.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have that on my board, but I can see both sides of it. Like I can see
Yeah, I think it's a
Arkansas
good under
covering,
game. If
yeah,
that's
because South Carolina couldn't put Georgia State away and didn't hit the over on that.
No. I mean, it was 14-12 Georgia State at one point, and then they kind of woke up and, like you mentioned, got 14 points off special teams. That really helped them put that away.
Yeah, so it's 8. DraftKings has it at 8 over
Okay.
53.
That's really, I could see that being a race
Yeah.
to 20, honestly. If these offenses continue to struggle and the defenses do enough not to just let leak the big 40, 50, 60-yard plays.
If Arkansas is able to run the ball, which I don't know who their running back is, then I can see
KJ
them
Jefferson
covering.
half the time.
Yeah, that's true. Darren McFadden-esque. I can see them covering, but if they're not able to run a ball against South Carolina's defense, who is notoriously terrible against run, not notoriously, but the past couple of years they have not been able to stop anybody.
Couldn't stop anybody last week. So
yeah.
And
but Georgia State's a good running back.
Right. And speaking of Georgia State, though, they host North Carolina because the ACC will not learn its lesson. If you guys haven't listened to it yet, I went on a little bit of a rant about how the ACC it's stupid to go to schools like this and play.
I mean, Georgia State, no, they don't. Yes, they do. They play at Turner Field. Why is UNC going to Turner Field to play a football game? So yeah, I just got myself confused.
Right. I mean, I wouldn't expect Georgia State to have a home football field, so that makes more sense than it probably should. But it's the ACC again, traveling to schools. I mean, we just saw Georgia State have a lead on SEC school a week ago, and now they're going to host a UNC team that just escaped Boone last week.
Yeah, 2 ACC schools went down to the wire for a win. 1 lost.
Right.
This conference gives me headaches.
Yeah, I don't understand it at all. And that spread's 7. So you'll talk about upset spots again for the Heels and Drake May.
I could see that one because of what their offense can do. And I think Georgia State's talent is a little bit less than App State.
I would say so, yeah. I mean, if North Carolina can limit the run, I think that's going to help them a lot.
Because Georgia State didn't do anything with the passing.
Right, and we saw the pass defense from Gene Chizik's Heels last week, and they gave up 60.
If they give up more than 20, is Gene Chizik on the hot seat?
I think he's on the hot seat
now
already. Yeah. I mean, we saw a Florida A&M team come in down 26 scholarship players and put up 24. It was 35-24 after 3 quarters.
They gave up 40 points in a quarter.
And in 12 minutes, App State put 40 on them, and that was after 2 unsuccessful 2-point conversions, so it could have been more.
I did see something with that game that they almost hit the over for the game in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, it was close.
Yeah, because I mean they scored 40, and then I think North Carolina scored like 20, so like
it was a couple TDs there
or something like that. So
just insane.
Yeah.
But yeah, speaking of App State though, they head to College Station to face the number 6 Texas A&M Aggies, who last week handled defending FCS champ Sam Houston State, I believe 31-0, as they search for a firm grip on the QB job. That spread's about 19, a 3:30 game. That seems, I mean, I don't know if it's that. I could see 31-10-ish, somewhere in there, 31-13. I don't know if it's within 2 TDs.
The only thing I'm worried about is App State's defense.
Right.
So.
And then you got to think their offense going up against North Carolina and going up against Texas A&M is worlds apart.
Yeah.
That defense.
Chase Bryce can still fling it. So I might not touch that game. I don't know. I don't like it.
I don't think I will either. No.
I don't like it.
I mean, potent duo on the ground as well for App State. So I think if they can get that going, it takes a little bit of pressure off Bryce, maybe opens things up. But I just don't see how this is. It's certainly as close as the game last week, but I don't see like an absolute blowout. But I do think that 3 TD number.
I think that Texas A&M will probably cover, but it'll be a close cover.
I could see like 24, 27 points somewhere in there.
Yeah, a touchdown cover.
Yeah, inside 30. Or I'd be pretty surprised, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, moving on to a little bit later in the slate, 3:30, we see the number 24 in Tennessee Vols head to number 17 Pitt in Tennessee on the road, but a 6-point favorite. Any thoughts there?
I like that game for reasons.
Later on.
Yeah, later on.
Okay.
If that, I doubt 70,000 is going to show up again for that game. It might be close because I mean it's a top 25 matchup.
Right.
They're riding that high after the backyard brawl. Tennessee's obviously, I mean who do they?
They're
play?
going to travel.
Ball State.
Yeah.
I mean their offense looked good.
Absolutely.
Pitt was able to show that they can win with Slovis.
Mm-hmm.
I mean that'd be an interesting game. I'm definitely going to be tuning into that.
I think it does help Pitt to have been tested in the opener. They were at home, technically at Heinz Field, but yeah, I think that helps to be in a game, win ugly like they did, opportunistic defense on the pick six. But that Tennessee offense was rolling. I know it was Ball State, which really tells us nothing, but we saw schools in similar matchups not roll like that. So I think it is a good sign to take out of that opener for Tennessee. But it's going to be, if Hendon Hooker is the best player on the field, I think Tennessee wins that game. But that's what it's going to take.
I agree. I second that notion because Pat Narduzzi is probably going to say, "Oh, we're passing the ball too much. We need to run the ball." Anyway.
Yeah, and then another just weird geography game. Maryland's playing at Charlotte this weekend.
Yeah, that one makes no sense at all. That's like UNC going to Georgia State. Like,
right.
Why?
Yeah,
there's going to be like 12 Maryland fans and 1,000 Charlotte. I never met a Charlotte fan.
I mean, I think Charlotte lost to William and Mary at home last week, so this might be extremely ugly for the 25 people that show up. But
yeah, I'm trying to see what it is. Continue talking.
27 points, I believe.
Something like that.
Yeah, Iowa State,
27.
big rivalry game early on in this college football year is always a good thing. We just saw it was with West Virginia and Pitt down to the wire. Iowa State going to Iowa where they're 3.5-point underdogs. Matt Campbell has not beaten Iowa yet. And really? I don't know if this is the year he gets it done. Yeah, Iowa has beaten them every matchup since 2014, I believe. So it's been a while.
Well, I mean, Iowa State did lose Purdy. They lost Breece Hall.
Yep.
But the way Iowa played last week.
That was embarrassing.
Yeah. I mean, I guess good on the defense, bad on the offense.
I mean, yeah, the defense outscored the offense 4-3. So
the defense covered this spread by themselves.
Right.
Yeah, that one's a weird one. Is it a night? It's a night game, right?
I think it's right in the middle. 4 o'clock maybe. Yeah, 4 o'clock.
Gotcha. What's the primetime game?
I've got Kentucky, Florida at 7. USC Stanford at 7:30.
That's probably where they're going after game day.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So, yeah, that one's just it's like you said, rivalry game. That one's usually pretty good. They always play in the second week, don't they?
It seems like it's been early lately. I'm not sure if that's been a trend for longer than recently, but yeah, I'm all for it.
Yeah, I like these. I do like these rivalry games earlier. Then the next one that we got is ODU and ECU.
Yeah, these are two teams that we all got a lot more familiar with last week than we would have thought. Old Dominion, obviously, hosting and beating the Hokies again, and then ECU hosting North Carolina State and being a laces forward extra point away from potentially making that an upset. And, of course, the missed 41-yarder at the end that also could have won the game. So these two teams, and what I've dubbed the Cinderella Bowl, face off Saturday night, 6 o'clock in Greenville, North Carolina.
Yeah. I mean, that's about probably the only.
Yeah.
Last week was about the only time I'll probably ever watch those two play ever.
Yeah. My only note was it's just hilarious these two teams play. The two biggest enemies of the ACC right now. Yeah. Right. The very next week.
Yeah. Chris and Herbie are going to be at Stanford, USC.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And then I was just looking at the next game actually that we got is Kentucky and Florida, and I was looking. It's 7 p.m. on ESPN. So
yeah,
we touched on it earlier. Two good a good quarterback matchup. Yeah, Kentucky needs this win because they've had a pretty good streak of finishing right behind Georgia. Not right behind, but
right. That first chase group in the SEC East right behind Georgia.
yeah. I mean, these two are, well, no. There's a three-headed monster, three-legged race for second after last week.
These two in Tennessee.
Yeah.
That's what it's looking like.
So, yeah, like we said, we touched on it earlier. Quarterback play is going to matter in this one. Hopefully,
absolutely.
Florida needs to come off that high. See if they can bounce back from it. So
right. Good to see Trevor Etienne on the field last week. Hopefully he does well again this week.
Like he runs like Travis.
I know.
So.
But yeah, with the late ESPN crew, I'll probably be watching as well. Number 10, Southern Cal heads to Stanford to play David Shaw in what seems to be thorn in the side of every Pac-12 contender, especially Oregon, for a decade plus now.
I think Oregon's a thorn in its own side nowadays.
That too. The spread opened at 12. It's gotten bet down to 8.5. Really interesting movement there. This just screams ugly.
Cover, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this is just. We saw
ugly,
USC.
Ugly cover either way.
Right. We saw USC cruise last week. I couldn't tell you who Stanford played last week. I just think you can throw the records out for this one, honestly, especially in the Pac-12. We've seen these late night games. They kind of happen usually like week 8 or 9 or 10. There'll be an upstart program with playoff aspirations, and they go into a game like this and they lose.
Big weekend for Lincoln Riley and Caleb Williams. See how they fare in their first true matchup. Got to start off in the Pac-12 1-0 if they want to make the playoffs. I mean, they jumped up to 10 already.
Right.
So
this is
at least the Riders like them. Yeah, the Riders love them. So they got a big, like we said, big early road test.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the tougher Pac-12 debuts you can imagine for a team going to Stanford. A team with conceivably already nothing to lose, everything to gain from a win like this. David Shaw tends to get up for these games. He wins a couple. That's why he's still there. We haven't heard from Stanford since pretty much Andrew Luck. So if you're wondering how David Shaw is still there, he wins games like this a lot more than most coaches in the country. So
yeah, he's
very, very
he's an interesting coach. Like, he's not done anything crazy. I mean, he's made a couple Rose Bowls, but that's also because since McCaffrey and Luck, like they just had, I think it's like the second place. A lot of times that, or they'll get the Pac-12, but that's also Pac-12's not been the Pac-12 for the past 7-8 years.
Ever since USC's been down, this conference has taken a step back nationally.
Yeah. And UCLA is UCLA.
Yeah, they're good luck in the Big Ten if you can't win the Pac-12. That's all I'm going to say about that. Yeah. So J.J. McCarthy, true freshman in Michigan, going to get a chance to start for the first time in his young career as Michigan hosts Hawaii. Jim Harbaugh couldn't pick a QB, so played one last week, and now the freshman will get his turn this week. Very interesting way to handle the quarterback battle. I'm not sure I agree with it, but if they do end up settling on a quarterback after these 2 weeks, then sure, I guess you could say it worked, depending on how the rest of their season goes. So
yeah, most teams do like quarter, half.
Right. I mean, McCarthy played last week
with
too,
a guy.
So yeah, very unorthodox from Jim Harbaugh.
They're really challenging themselves at the beginning of the year. I don't know what the writers love about them to rank them all the way to 4, jumping Clemson, A&M.
Yeah, Notre Dame and Utah in losses, but yeah, Clemson and A&M off wins.
Better than Michigan, I think.
Oh, I mean, they know their quarterback. I'll give them that.
Yeah.
But yeah, Caden McNamara couldn't separate, neither could J.J. McCarthy. So McNamara started last week. They rolled. McCarthy even got in at the end of the game. And now this week against Hawaii, McCarthy's going to start. I mean, will we see McNamara as QB2 like that? I just don't.
He'll come in because they're gonna score 40 in the first quarter, and then it's gonna be over.
Yeah, it's another one that's very interesting geography games. But notice Michigan is not going to Hawaii like the ACC absolutely would. So
SEC.
Well, that too. Well, it's Vandy. They don't count.
They're the ACC of the SEC.
Tell me that in baseball season.
They're the Sun Belt of the SEC. No, they're the FCS. There we go.
I was about to say Chase Bryce could put 80 on them.
They're Division 3.
Another big conference matchup for the ACC in the night slot at 8. Boston College, Virginia Tech, two teams that really, really, really need wins after losses to Rutgers and Old Dominion, respectively, in week 1.
Brent probably needs this one bad.
I mean, can you have a hot seat in game 2? I mean, this is
losing to ODU and Boston College. That's not looking great for your career.
I mean, you think sky is falling if you split,
yeah,
and then you come out of that 0-2. I mean, what do you hang your hat on after that season?
I mean, he's got to go bowl eligible this year, right?
If they can't get to 6, I keep saying to give these coaches longer than 2 years, but the early part of the schedule is usually set up to where you're going to get halfway to bowl season by October.
Get a feel for it.
Now, it's not his fault they're going to Old Dominion, which I've said 1,000 times now is just the stupidest idea in the world. And I guess I have heard between recordings of shows that it is true that Virginia Tech players had some things stolen from their lockers during this game, so that may affect the deal these two schools have going forward as far as the 9 years left in this home-and-home series that is slated right now. So maybe some years come off of that decade-long deal. But
between that and the coaches getting stuck in an elevator, not looking great for Old Dominion.
Right, that was just one of those things that you would think was fake, but it was tied to college football, so it absolutely happened.
Yeah. Definitely.
We've had Hugh Freeze coach from a hospital bed. We've had all kinds of things like this happen.
I forgot about that. Oh, what a guy.
I think he faked that a little bit, I think. But elevator, very stuck. Game, very delayed. And unfortunately, the visiting locker room's Old Dominion, very not secure. So very interesting night game this week, though. Baylor, number 9 in the country, going to number 21 BYU. BYU, as we mentioned in the preview show, a lot of spoiler spots for them this year. And this is the first one because they're hosting Baylor at 10:15 Saturday night. What do you think here?
Yeah, that's an interesting game in general. Top 25 matchup. Baylor needs to prove something because I think their defense is not as good as last year.
I think they lost some guys.
Yeah, and then quarterback play. He's got they had a quarterback transfer because he didn't win the starting job. And then the fighting Mormons they're a little feisty at home, so.
Absolutely.
I don't know what made me think about this. Or continue. I'll get it after you if you talk.
That's fine. Just
BYU.
Spread's interesting. BYU, a field goal favorite at home. People may just glance at the numbers with the rankings and kind of be curious about that. But this BYU team, like you mentioned, really, really good at home. They've got a pretty good fan base out there as well. Bit of elevation maybe in play too. But big early test for Baylor. We saw them beat Oklahoma State in the thriller for the Big 12 conference last year. A lot of big preseason expectations, but I think it may be a little inflated, similar to Oregon. Now, hopefully, their fall from grace, if it does happen, is a little more graceful than 49-3.
I need them to play well because I picked them for my Big 12 championship.
Right, that's true. So, I just think that it's a big prove-it spot for Baylor being at number 9 in the country already, which is a product of a couple losses, but still. If you're in top 10 team in September, everybody's gunning for you, especially teams like BYU that with the way their schedule's looking, they just get to play nightmare fuel for all these top schools. Yeah. And this will be the first time we get to see a big litmus test for them as far as their danger to, I think they play Notre Dame, maybe USC, a couple like playoff contenders are on their schedule.
Are they, before they're going to the Pac-12, are they independent?
They are in the Mountain. What? No, that might be independent. I want to say Mountain West, but I think
I feel like BYU independent.
They might be.
Anyway, I don't know why I thought about this. When you said Hugh Freeze coaching from a
hospital bed.
Yeah. For some reason, it made me think about Bobby Petrino and his motorcycle accident. He returns to Arkansas next week.
Does he?
Yes.
That will be mentioned on this show in a week's time.
I heard about that like last week on a podcast. And then I was like, is that true? Like, it just dawned on, like, that goes to show you my rabbit hole of a brain.
On the team motorcycle, no less.
Yeah. So we'll talk about that next week. We're going to put a note of that for the next podcast.
Yeah, mental note. You will hear more about this next week.
I just had a quick Google search, and
that's incredible.
So
it's gonna be a good week on the Twitter for sure.
Oh, I can't wait for the signs.
Yeah, but Hawaii plays a little earlier than usual. going to Michigan. So we do have a night game, and yes, it is a little weird. Mississippi State goes to Arizona at 11 Eastern kickoff.
Yeah, it's good to see these SEC schools going for road games.
Yeah, I will have to qualify my SEC never does it take because here we are. They're doing it. I know Brandon Walker's nervous for this game. It's about a 2 TD spread.
It's a weird game. Like you're going all the way to Arizona.
Yeah.
But I know they haven't been much the past couple of years, but
right. So I just one of those. All the pressures on the visitors there. Arizona, very low expectations, and they're probably going to meet those very low expectations. But yeah, spoiler spot again in the late slate. I don't expect an upset here, but it's going to be one of those. If you're a Mississippi State fan, you're nervous. You've been nervous all week. It's going to be a long 3 hours of football.
Yep. Agreed.
Yeah, but that's a slate. So I've got 5 picked out for us to pick straight up. If you've got those in front of you,
I got them right here.
Going in chronological order to help you guys out as we get through various time slots on Saturday. We're going to start at 3:30 with Tennessee at Pitt. What you thinking there?
I like this game a lot for multiple reasons. Two pretty good offenses. I think Pitt kind of figured something out towards the end of that game last week. But I'm going to go with Tennessee. I think this is a good year for them. Their offense is clicking. Hendon Hooker's are stud. Hookers are studs. Hooker is a stud. So we're going on Rocky Top.
Yeah. I would be more tempted to go with underdog here.
It's a SEC away game.
If that is true. I really gotta. Yeah. All right. Fine. SEC. You win this time. I guess.
We'll put an asterisk. Alabama doesn't go to any SEC games.
Yeah. To be fair, Alabama is that conference, so I'll take that easy out there. Yeah. If resident Vol diehard Jacob was here, I would probably take Pitt just to irritate him. But like I mentioned earlier, it's going to come down to who's better quarterback, and I would rather be on the side of Hendon Hooker than Keaton Slovis in this game. Opponents in mind, I think obviously Hooker looked a lot better last week.
Yep.
So step up in competition for Tennessee, a lot bigger one than it is for Pitt, but I'm going to take the Vols as well.
Yeah. We currently do not have Jacob's picks. If he gets them to us by the end of the episode, we will go through them and let him know or let y'all know.
I got a feeling about this first one. He's going to take Tennessee.
Yeah. We'll also tweet him out if he comes out after the episode. So.
Right. Yeah.
We'll recap you as well. So.
Iowa State, Iowa, the next one I had circled. That's 4:00 kick. Mentioned Iowa, home favorite. Who do you like there?
That's a tough one. I hate picking this game because of what Iowa did last week, and I didn't watch Iowa State at all. I have no clue what they did.
Yeah.
But I still got to go Iowa. This Iowa State's monkey on the back is getting past Iowa, so I'm still going Iowa.
Yeah, with the game in Iowa, those fans have the ability to inspire a hopefully better play this week. FCS game, maybe a look ahead spot last week. They struggled on offense, putting up 3 points and needing 2 safeties to win 7-3 against South Dakota State. So I think it's easy. You look at teams like Florida, for example, you think, okay, based on last week, this is going to be this week. And I think that we do that a little bit too much. I know Iowa on the flip side of that comparison with Florida, but I do think they get it done at home.
Yeah. They definitely had some interesting practices this week, so
yeah.
I think they might be ready. I mean, it's also hard to get up against San Diego State or South Dakota State compared to your rival Iowa State. So
right, especially with that 7-day gap, you can't tell me guys are like, all right, we'll go out, we'll win 42-6, and then we got Iowa State. So,
so we're on the same page for 2 of them so far.
Yeah, and I'm kind of scared to be honest.
Yeah, me too. Because looking at the rest of them, I think I might know where you're going to.
Kentucky, Florida at 7.
I have relations with Kentucky. I applied there. I got in there. I almost went there. My aunt is a professor. Shout out, Penny. But she also went to Florida for some time. I think she went to grad school there. I think they are able to build off the momentum from last week. I'm going with the Gators.
Yeah, I don't. It may not be as smooth of a win as some people are expecting back in the swamp of Florida, Kentucky, and Will Levis coming to them. I think it could be last team with the ball wins. I think it could be come down to kickers at the end. But I do think that swamp bump is just enough for Florida again this week, and they get it done. Fourth game we've got is, we mentioned, one of the more dangerous spots of the week is the USC Trojans heading to the Stanford Cardinal, led by David Shaw and a bunch of players who have had this game circled all year and are going to be very, very ready for this. Who you got?
Southern Cal. I feel Caleb Williams and Lincoln Riley, they're gonna be on once their first true time to shine for this season, so they're gonna be ready. I think they'll probably cover, but I don't know. I'm not really gonna bet that game either.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go USC too. I think that if we see a massive upset Saturday, this is certainly up there candidate wise. I just don't, with all the talent there, you would think at some point in 60 minutes that gives them an edge enough to escape. I could absolutely see it within 2 touchdowns. I don't know about one. The spread's sitting about 8.5 right now. But I mean, there's just that roster. If they go in and lose this game in week 2, that casts doubt on a lot of games coming up for them. So I think in the interest of that, I'm going to take them maybe a little uglier than we think, maybe inside 10 points, maybe right at this number, but I'm going to take USC as well. And step through 4, I really don't like that. Last one I had circled, the late game, Baylor headed to Mormontown facing BYU.
I don't know exactly. I don't know where you're going with this one. I don't know where I'm going with this one. This game really doesn't matter for the Big 12 for Baylor.
Right.
I'm going to go with Baylor. I'm going Baylor.
All right, good.
We got to have some variability.
We will have one disagreement on this slate. After all, I'm going to take BYU at home. I think that this is another one of those spots where you have a team that's dangerous with some talent, and the pressure is shifted almost completely off of them. Baylor answering to the expectations set as being a top 10 team right now. This is their first real game. It's not in their place. It's nowhere near their place. It's on the road in BYU.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take the Cougars to win. That field goal line is probably I'd say about right. I don't think it's a blowout either way. I think we see this game maybe not extend past double digits the entire way, but I'm going to take BYU at home.
Yeah. I'm not happy about the pick. I don't love it. It's a statement game for both teams, so.
Yeah, this is going to be one we may look back in 2 months and circle and say if this went differently, these two teams are on very different paths. But
we were able
that's what we got for straight up picks.
We're also able to get Jacob's picks in.
Okay.
He is obviously going Tennessee. Color me shocked.
Yeah.
He's differing from us. He's going Iowa State.
Okay.
Got Florida.
Mm-hmm.
He is going Stanford. He's going with the Homeboys.
I respect it. Yeah.
Yeah. And then he's got Baylor. So he's got 2 picks different than us. So.
Yeah. Some variety from our third member.
Yeah.
Not in person, but in spirit certainly. And yeah. So
at
glad we got his picks in.
At worst, I'm going to have a 1-game lead, and at best, I'm going to have a 3-game lead.
Yeah, that's true. If you run the table again like you did week 1, you're going to stretch that lead out. As far as picks go, I don't have a ton of logic behind these. I'm just taking good teams.
It's not a crazy weekend for.
No, it's really not.
Good games, but it's not like last weekend.
This is 3 favorites, which I'm a little worried about. But I tried the small dogs last week, and they burned me for the most part. Well, completely, as far as the show's concerned. But first one, I've got Sam Hartman coming back to Wake. They go to Nashville, and they cover the 13-point spread against Vandy.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. I like that one. It's a good game for Sam Hartman to come back after his interesting path to the beginning of the year.
Right.
So I like that pick. Oh gosh, I like the over in Alabama, Texas. 66 and 60 is what DraftKings says 65.5. like we said earlier, Texas could probably get 3 touchdowns if they're able to
Right.
move the ball around. Alabama's going to score 1,000 points.
Yeah, I think any offensive pulse from Texas and we've seen over in that game, so I like that.
Yeah. Jacob's first bet is Tennessee -6. Shocker.
Yeah, we should have seen that coming.
Yeah.
My second one, another situation, better team, better QB, on the road again, but I'm going to take Maryland in the 27 points going to Charlotte. This Charlotte defense can't stop anything against 2 inferior opponents in Florida Atlantic and last week, William and Mary, and they dropped both of those games. So I think Talia Tagovailoa can go in there maybe for 2.5 quarters, but I think 27 is not enough for a Maryland team looking to just keep cruising through this early slate.
Yeah. Charlotte. The next one that I like, Drake May showed something for me last week. I'm hoping their defense changes something around. I got North Carolina -7. I think Josh Downs will be back, so that's a big game changer.
Oh, absolutely.
Get my pain out early, going with a couple early picks.
I like that. What's Jacob got?
He has got Iowa State +3.5. So he's kind of going off of his.
I like that. Sticking to the game day slate.
Yeah.
My third one is also from the game day slate. Give me BYU laying 3 points.
That's a good one. I don't like it, but
doubling down
for my game day slate. And then, gosh, there's just nothing that really appeals to me much. I'm going to go with Kentucky and Florida with the over 52.5.
Okay, yeah, shoot out in the swamp.
Yeah, I mean,
like that.
They missed it by the last game in the swamp. Missed it by 0.5 point. So this time it's not going to bite me in the ass. It's going to come back. I'm calling it.
I mean, 2 of the top QBs, at least right now, especially in the SEC, going at it. So you'd expect points there for sure. What's Jacob's third one?
His third one is Baylor +3. So
all right, so we'll get a winner out of that one for sure.
Yeah, I was thinking I was looking around too, and I was listening to Barstool's Pick'em show, and they were talking Miami versus
Southern Miss. Yeah, I looked at that one too. I just that has similar vibes to me as this Southern Cal Stanford spread. It doesn't make sense.
Well, I was thinking more the over. It's 51.5, and Miami put up.
I can see Miami
70.
doing that. Yeah, against Bethune-Cookman last week.
That one might be a little parlay for me later.
Yeah.
My little Saturday parlays, if you know what I'm saying.
But yeah, so that's going to do it for the college portion of the show. These will all be tweeted out beforehand and recapped on our Twitter at the 1009. So if you want to see how we did the first 2 weeks, you probably don't if you heard the recap to start the show, but it is there. Internet's forever. So it is there, good or bad. Recently it's been bad, but we're going to try and bounce back. And we have more chances this week because the NFL is back tonight.
Yeah,
actually.
it is.
This will be out
this league
tomorrow.
NFL is king.
Right. King Goodell and his superior product will kick off another season tonight. Rams Bills. We talked the game on the NFL preview that should be out by the time you hear this. So if you want thoughts on that one, go ahead and check that out.
I was liking the over in that game, I think, and the Bills.
Yeah, I'm leaning Rams, but it should be a hell of a game.
It spreads 2, so it's a toss-up, basically.
You're picking who wins pretty much. But yeah, getting right into it. The early window, 1 o'clock, best time on a Sunday, is back for 18-plus weeks now. Really interesting games. I love these division games in week 1. Not as much for the Chargers, but Saints-Falcons featuring 2 new QBs. We got Niners-Bears.
Well, I mean, Jabu was there last year.
Jameis Winston has
played.
Yeah, okay. So familiar face in New Orleans, 2 new faces in Desmond Ridder and Marcus Mariota in Atlanta. I think the Saints are about a TD favorite as the road team, which when you look at these 2 defenses on paper, that sounds about right.
Yeah. Hopefully AJ can continue what he carried the momentum from last year.
Right. I think lowest completion percentage against last. I mean,
which I think is
falling out.
His rookie year, he struggled. But, I mean, you're going from college to.
Right. That's a huge jump. Even if you are playing Alabama almost every year in the playoff, that's a huge jump talent-wise. So
you're playing Alabama every week. So.
Right. Niners Bears year 2 QB matchup. Lance finally getting the reins kind of in the Bay, and then Justin Fields obviously with Mitch elsewhere is going to really take off, I think, in year 2 if his O-line can function. So
Speaking of Fields, how good a shape is Soldier Field going to be in? Because they've had like 3 concerts in the past like
have they really?
month, and one was like some punk rock.
So they had a mosh pit.
Yeah, it was like Ramadan or something. Ramadan.
I'm not
something.
familiar.
There's a song. Shout out to Dallas Braden. This was his walk-up song at Texas Tech.
Okay.
It was Du Hast. It's a bumping song. Like it's a screamo rock song.
Right.
And then I think, God, they've had like 3 concerts of just. I think Bad Bunny has been there recently. Red Hot Chili Peppers. So
it's a busy place. It's a busy place.
And I think I saw something where they might be getting a new stadium.
That's right. They want to move more to the downtown. I think it's Arlington area. Which I read as Texas, of course, first, and I was like, wait a minute. But same names, different.
But yeah, cities. Interesting quarterback matchup. 2 guys from the 2019 draft, 2020 draft.
2020, yeah.
The years mess with me.
We know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Nick Bosa might have 6 sacks if this Bears O-line is projected correctly. So just pray for Justin Fields and his ribs, I think, in this one.
Yeah. And
we do see, right, and Darnell Mooney and Cole Kmet, because that's it outside of, Mont and Khalil Herbert now, the pass catcher there in the backfield. AFC champs, the Bengals. It's Burrow, it's Chase, it's T. Higgins. Going to the Steelers in their new horribly named stadium that I will keep referring to as Heinz Field. Their new QB has recently announced, Mitch Trubisky will for now lead the Steelers. What are you thinking there?
That's an interesting one. It's going to be interesting to see how the Bengals rush defense is going to hold up, because I feel like the Steelers are going to go rely heavily on Najee.
Absolutely.
They obviously lost Juju, so their wide receiver core is a little different. They got Deontay Johnson, who's on a lot of my fantasy teams. I don't know why. And then Chase Claypool, who's Chase Claypool. You never know what you're going to get out of him.
Right. Pat Frymuth, excellent young tight end as well.
Yeah, definitely. So they're probably going to be a very rush-heavy offense this year, I feel like, depending on if Kenny Pickett gets any time, Mitch, Mason Rudolph, who knows. And how the other side is how well the Bengals offensive line improved, or if they made any improvements. Because I mean they're going to throw the ball everywhere. They're going to run the ball. It's just a pass protection.
They got Joe Mixon still, so they're going to be running as well. They did make some moves in the offseason at O-line. We talked about it in the AFC preview episode, so it should be better. Maybe not much more above, capable. Burrow's metrics as far as facing a pass rush are ridiculous and how bad it is. The fact they made it to a Super Bowl, let alone made the playoffs, is a testament to that offense and what they were able to do outside of pass protection. The defense as well that anchored them through the playoffs, especially. So pretty high expectations there. We mentioned in the NFC show that the Rams get a little bit more of a bump in the futures market with regard to repeating as Super Bowl attendees or winners. So
I think a lot of that's based off people think it was just a
right. But I mean, with Burrow, I said this before too. Lightning in the bottle. This is twice in like 3 or 4 years now. He's done this. We saw it at LSU as well. Maybe a bit less out of nowhere at LSU, but still. I mean, he took the talent and he took them to, in one case, a championship.
That came from that team too. So.
Right. That team is well represented in the NFL now as well. So.
Both sides of the ball.
Yeah. Mac Jones and the Patriots head down to Miami to play Tua, who now can throw to Tyreek Hill, hopefully. That Miami defense, I think, is going to absolutely feast on these Patriots. Patricia calling plays.
It's going to be an interesting year for the Patriots in general.
Their win total is right around 500, and I would take the under on that.
Yeah, they got rid of Kevin Bourne. I mean, he's not. I mean, it's not
Kendrick Bourne. Yeah,
Kendrick, Kevin, same thing.
Same thing.
I mean, you don't have that many targets at wide receiver. You still got N'Keal Harry.
No. Yeah, James White retired. I think they got rid of N'Keal Harry, honestly.
I'm gonna look up.
All right, that's fine. Yeah, go ahead. So, I mean, again, Matt Patricia calling plays for that offense. It didn't look great in the preseason, so I struggled to see it translating to succeeding against a really, really good defense in Miami at their place to open the year. James White retiring, so that's another head of the backfield.
I mean, they got two studs. I mean, Damian Harris and Stevenson, they're pretty strong.
That backfield duo has a lot of potential.
I was wrong. They still have Kendrick Bourne. They got rid of N'Keal Harry.
Right. Okay.
They got Jacoby Myers, Devontae Parker, and Aguilar are their top 3 starting wide receivers right now.
Right. Nelson Aguilar, Eagles fame for dropping the ball. But yeah.
I mean, Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith.
Hunter Henry is going to be very, very, very important for them. He in fantasy last year finished like tight end once because of the production aimed in his direction, with the receiver room we just mentioned not being. I mean, you put that and Cincinnati up together, it's ridiculous.
I forgot they had Jabril Peppers.
Do they really?
Yeah, he's their second string safety.
Good Lord. I'm glad he's still playing. But yeah, that's the early window. A couple interesting middle window games kicking off around 4.
Whoa.
I knew it.
You're missing one there, bud.
Yeah, I know. We're going to talk about that game later, too.
Yeah.
But, go ahead. What are you thinking?
I don't know. I've seen a lot on Twitter and on other forms of social media. People are really hyping up the Panthers. I don't know how I feel about it. I am concerned. I am scared. I am hyped. I have no clue what to expect this year.
My
expectations are low, but I won't be surprised if anything crazy happens.
As long as CMC is in shoulder pads and touching the football, I would lean towards hype, and I would trend towards scared if that ceases to be a thing.
We talked about that on the NFC this week.
Right.
This season heavily relies on if Matt Rule is a complete and total idiot, and if CMC is healthy.
Yeah, they have the tools, they have the weapons. I think, in my opinion, they now have the quarterback that can win them games. The schedule, as we mentioned also previously, is atrocious.
It might be the toughest schedule in the NFL.
That NFC West, I think they play all 4 games in like 5 weeks. It's absolutely just insanity. So hopefully the pass protection can keep Baker Mayfield healthy. And
based off of Vegas's forecasted win totals, the Panthers had the 14th. Oh, wait, what? Hold on. We have the 14th easiest schedule based off of
last year's win percentage.
Yeah.
I don't.
The teams with the hardest schedules. No, it's based off of Vegas's forecasted win totals.
Oh, well then that's different. I would be shocked if they're not in the top 5 toughest schedules, to be honest. Now the end of the season does lighten up, but
NFL teams with the hardest schedules in 2020: Chiefs, Rams, Raiders, Steelers, Texans.
Is that 2020 or 2022?
2022, sorry.
Okay, I was making sure.
This was posted last week, the 25th of August. So
was it that for the Texans because they're going to be 10-point dogs in every game? Like, is that
probably? I don't know. That strength of schedule in the NFL is slightly different, so I don't know.
Yeah, I think looking at it in the way we did the other night, it's going to be tough. So
yeah, I mean, it's like the AFC, their NFC West is back to back to back to back, basically, or something
right,
like that.
Just brutal. Yeah, so that's a big one for a lot of local people. So that will wrap up the early slate. My apologies there. Middle window, a couple more division games.
Yeah, the Packers at
Yeah, that too.
What Chargers?
The Chargers look to not go for a tie this time against the Raiders. Rematch the regular season finale that I unfortunately lived through. And if we don't beat them, I'm going to be really, 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 really upset because first of all, I picked them to win the Super Bowl. So kind of important.
Well, at least one loss doesn't kill you.
Right, which I slept on, woke up, and I regret. But can't undo it now.
Yeah. I got the Panthers winning the Super Bowl.
I probably should. I mean, I tried to say playoffs and I'll pull up the schedule. But
yeah,
the Chargers do play the only non-elite QB in the division, so need that win.
Better than most, worse than some.
As Bailey mentioned, the Packers do head to Minnesota in another big division game at the 4:00 hour. Very trendy upset pick here. It's a pretty close spread, but a lot of people saying Minnesota. If they're going to challenge the Packers for this division, you got to get this one at home. Yeah. You only get 2 shots at them, and the other one will be at Lambeau. So.
Yeah, and it's always tough to win at Lambeau, and I think that Lambeau game is in later part of the season. So, but I mean, they're also up in Minnesota, so they can just go practice outside. So.
Right.
But they play in a in a
in the
dome.
dome.
So, yeah. So that's a little bit different. But yeah, that one's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how A-Rod handles his new wide receiver core. I think I saw something where Lazard is questionable. I thought
Okay, if he doesn't play, then take the under, and I think that's just
Let me double check.
Yeah, go ahead. The last one I had circled in the middle, the Kansas City Chiefs head to Kyler and the Cardinals. The new Call of Duty game is not out yet, so look for Kyler to do exceptionally well against very tough competition in a home opener in Mahomes and the Chiefs, who are also looking at a new wide receiver room, kind of like Aaron Rodgers is. Tyreek Hill gone to Miami over some money issues, so they now have a wide receiver room that consists of Juju. They've got Marquez Valdez-Scantling. They've got Travis Kelce, who might as well be a wide receiver as much as he's involved. They got Clyde Edwards-Helaire in the backfield. So,
you got to be kidding me.
Still some weapons in the backfield and around the offense for Mahomes. But you saw McCaffrey's shin injury, didn't you?
I just saw it.
Yeah, I was going to mention it, and I thought about it, and I was like, you know what? He looks happy. We're not going to talk about it.
Mother.
He practiced fully today.
Lazard did not participate. So there's that. He's got an ankle injury, but I just saw, God.
Bailey, please do not stand on your office chair.
You see that rope on my ceiling fan? God almighty.
I'm told it is fine.
It better be. That's like 2 of my fantasy teams and my heart and soul for this season.
I saw it might just be a laceration, so hopefully CMC week 1. But,
cut his shin with the cleat, but finish practicing is fine. God, they can't.
Yeah.
You can't put a tweet out like that and just say, "Oh, it was just a cut." Let's get him on the pod. Joe Person, who the hell are you? Carolina Panthers craft beer and Little League baseball. Not necessarily in that order. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Rant
Great
over.
Thursday news dump for Bailey and the Panthers. I think we get a great set of late games. Sunday, we get Buccaneers, Cowboys. These teams faced off week 1 last year. Tampa getting a 2-point home win. It's in Jerry World this year. And then Monday night, the storylines are good. The 2 teams maybe not, with Seattle hosting Russell Wilson and the now Denver Broncos.
That's a good storyline game.
Geno against game. Russell Wilson.
Yeah,
that might be the biggest QB mismatch of the week or the decade, depending on how you look at it. But healthy Russ, fingers intact, headed back to. Interesting. I don't know how the 12th man is going to react to him back. I feel like it'll be warmer than
he got traded, right?
Yes.
But he wanted the trade.
Yeah, oh yes. Yeah, he wanted out.
They can't be mad.
It'll be a mix. I mean, he gave him a Super Bowl.
Gave him a Super Bowl, took him to 3.
Yeah.
So.
Which.
No, he took him to 2. Took him to 2.
Right, took him to 2.
Yeah.
He won 1. Malcolm Butler won the other one. So yeah. But yeah, getting into, we're gonna keep the same style just to keep it easier for you guys. We're gonna go game day style of 5 games that we think are the marquee ones, at least, or the most interesting. So.
Then have the most interest for us personally too.
Right. The Panthers and the Chargers are both on here. So on objectivity, I'm not sorry. But before we get to those games, first off, Patriots against the Dolphins in week 1. Who you got there?
That's an interesting one. I don't think the Patriots are going to be worth much this year. So I'm going Dolphins.
I am also going Dolphins, and you'll hear about that from me later as well. What's Jacob got for that one?
Currently no picks yet. He only sent us his bets, so
that's fine. He's a college guy anyway. So, moving on to the game of the week, maybe the year: Browns Panthers at 1 o'clock. Right. I will not skip that again. Give me the Panthers. I just think the Brissett era doesn't start with the road win. I think it's as simple as that. I think Chubb and Hunt are still potent. They got Amari Cooper out wide now, but I don't see the Panthers and Baker especially. I think Baker plays a lot better when he's pissed off, and he's gonna be pissed off.
He's come out saying, I've seen a lot from him this week saying that it's it's just kind of another game. He's not really building up much.
I've seen him plant a flag in the middle of a team's field before. I don't believe that for a second.
That's what I've seen some tweets about it. Someone made a shirt about it. I forgot what it was, and he just kind of didn't
when
He's
he's
kind of shrugged it
spiking the
off. So.
ball like Terrell Owens at midfield, I'm gonna cease
Oh,
to
I'm gonna
believe
be
any of that.
fully
So
here for it. And then if he does that, I'm saying we're winning the Super Bowl. So
yeah, give me Baker and
yeah,
the Panthers.
I'm taking the Panthers as well. I think our defense is very improved from the past couple of years. Jeremy Chin is an underrated stud in this league. Brian Burns is one of the best defensive ends. If we can figure out something in between the defensive ends, Derek Brown needs to have a better year. Stay healthy. We got guys that we can rotate in and out. Linebacker core is pretty good. We get J.C. Horn,
Right. Yep.
who had a great start to the beginning of the year until he had a season-ending foot injury, and I think Deontay Jackson, who needs to improve or have a comeback year for him because he's kind of had a good freshman year. Rookie year kind of fell off last year. So defense is going to be probably one of the stronger sides of the ball, but then again, the offense can be depending on quarterback play, offensive line, and if McCaffrey's healthy, if he doesn't cut his shin anymore. So. Yeah, that's
maybe some bubble wrap in store for him.
Yeah.
But yeah, moving on to what I think is the game of the week. It's the Chargers hosting the Raiders. I'm going to take the team with a good quarterback. Give me Justin Herbert. We have 15 players better than their top 15. So love Hunter Renfrow. Hate the rest of the team, excluding obviously John Simpson and the rest of the Clemson guys there. But yeah, give me the Chargers by, I'll say conservatively, 60 points.
I hate this because I can see the Chargers winning easily, and I hate this because I also picked the Raiders to win the division.
But this is tough for you.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm going Raiders. We're going to have more variability with the NFL than we are going to have college football.
Yeah, I'm not offended. I will be if you're right. I'll be pissed. But, as we sit here on Thursday afternoon, that's fine. I respect it.
I mean, their offense is going to be pretty good. Josh Jacobs, obviously a good running back. Hunter Renfrow, Devontae Adams, Waller. Like they got monsters on offense. Defense is going to be interesting to see. So.
Right. Yeah. If AFC Kirk Cousins can get the ball to those weapons, then the Chargers will be in for a long day. But more elite QB play, maybe. Aaron Rodgers going to the Vikings in what may be the most intriguing game of the day, if fandoms are put aside. I've been saying it, I think every show we've mentioned this game, give me the Vikings.
Yeah. First game of the season at the Vikings. No clue what their wide receiver core is going to look like. Their defense is going to be good. But, yeah, I'm going Vikings.
Yeah, road dogs, divisional games tend to fare well for a lot of reasons, but give me the fighting Kirk Cousins. Last game at Circle, it's the last game we're going to watch on Sunday. Tom Brady and the hopefully not all divorced Tampa Bay Buccaneers head to Jerry World to face healthy Dak, maybe effective Zeke, and the Dallas Cowboys. Who you got there?
That was a interesting game to start the season last year. I think a lot of people were not expecting that from the Cowboys.
Yeah, it was 31-29 Tampa in Tampa last year to open the season.
The only thing I'm worried about with the Cowboys is it's just CeeDee Lamb as a wide receiver pretty much.
Right.
I'm going to go with the Bucs. I think we covered it pretty well in the NFC. That their defense is good, offense is there, they got the weapons. Tom Brady's Tom Brady.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's tough every week in the NFL. You can lose, especially these road games. I think there's a rumored split between Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott forming in the backfield. So if they ride the hot hand and not just Zeke, if it's not as hot of a hand, then I think that's going to help them. Receiver you mentioned, they're going to lean on rookie Kevontae Turpin some, which against this Tampa defense, good luck. I think Dak's going to make a lot of plays.
He bursted onto the scene with his punt return skills.
Right.
Because he was USFL Player of the Year, MVP or whatever you call it.
Right. Speed.
But the NFL is slightly different than the USFL.
Right. That'll be interesting.
Hot off the press.
But, yeah, I think even if Chris Godwin isn't able to go this first week, I think Brady can spread it around to the weapons he has. It's an embarrassment of riches as far as skill guys. I think Leonard Fournette could bounce back a bit, even in his aging career. But, yeah, give me Tampa Bay. It's on the road. I would say dangerous spot. I think the Cowboys,
It might be like last year's game.
Right. I don't know what the spread was last year, but it's 2.5 now. I think it'd absolutely be that close. So, but I will take Tampa.
So we vary on one.
I mean, that's just like the first week of college football. Just hopefully, I get the 5-0 week and you don't.
Yeah, we shall see. We did not get Jacob's straight up picks. We will probably have to tweet him out.
Yeah.
We do have bet picks from him, so we will get to those after ours.
Whatever works. Betting wise, I'm gonna open up. I mentioned Nick Bosa's sack prediction. I don't think it'll be 6. It could very well be 2.5 or 3 though. It's a road game, but give me Trey Lance and the Niners laying a touchdown in Chicago this Sunday. You did not pick the Bears. You picked the Niners.
I was going to go with that too, but I want to have some variability when it at least comes to bets. So I love the -7. I will probably still bet that for the.
I was between
49ers.
that and the Ravens laying the same number in the Meadowlands against the Jets, but I went with the Niners. But feel free to steal it.
I'm not going to steal it. I'm probably going to bet it anyway. My first pick is going to be in the great state of Michigan. The Eagles are going to Detroit. They're currently -4. I think that offense is set to have a breakout year. Detroit, they got weapons, but I still think it's just Detroit. So I'm going to take Eagles -4.
Yeah, I mean, Swift and Amon-Ra St. Brown is great. Jared Goff, maybe not. Defense, going to need to see a step up. They just brought in Aiden Hutchinson, but, we've seen rookies have big impact.
Defense.
Right. He can affect his position group, to say the least. The pass rush could be more potent, but I think we've seen improvement, a little hard knocks bump there, but I do think the Eagles can handle them, even on the road. Second one I mentioned earlier, give me 2 and the Dolphins at home. It's 3.5. I'd love it more at 3, but I think they win by at least 4. I think this could be closer to double digits if my predictions on the Patriots offense and the Dolphins defense are correct. So putting some faith in Christian Wilkins there and give me the Dolphins -3.5.
I still like a game from the 1:00 slate as well. 2 division rivals of the Panthers, the Saints and the Falcons. It's at Atlanta, but I still think the Saints are going to be able to cover. They got a good offense, great defense. They're sitting -5.5, so I think they'll probably win by a touchdown or 2, 3. So nothing crazy from the Falcons this year, especially on offense. I mean, quarterback falling off the earth quarterback. No really real weapons. I'm pretty sure Drake London's still coming back from his injury.
They got Kyle Pitts there as well, but I mean, a tight end can only raise your skill group so high. But I mean, Michael Thomas, anything close to himself as long as Kamara is eligible. Jameis, he might throw 4 picks, but I do think they can get it done. So I like that too. Wrapping it up, I've been heavy on this team the entire episode, so it should come as no surprise, but give me Vikings +100 even money on the money line.
Nice. I like that. I picked the Raiders earlier, but I see this being a high-scoring affair. I really don't like NFL overs, and this is probably going to bite me in the ass. But I like the over 52.5.
I mean, I could see it. J.C. Jackson, I think, ultimately will play. May not be himself coming off an injury. He had some minor surgery for a little bit too recently for my liking. So I think that that could be a 30-something to 30-something type game. So I think 52.5 is a good shot for an over. So can't knock that either. But so that's straight up picks and bets we like for NFL. Again, this will all be tweeted out before the games start. And, of course, recapped after they end on Twitter at the 1009.
We do have Jacob's bets.
Oh, do we? Okay, go ahead. Just rattle them off.
We have his bets, not his picks. He likes Raiders +3.5, Packers -1.5, Cowboys +2.5.
Okay. Well,
we disagree on Twitter.
I was about to say contrarian there, but that's good for the show. Get some variety in there. And we'll see who's on the right side of these slates. Again, that'll all be on Twitter. But anything else you got?
That's it. I'm just ready for a full weekend of football again.
Yeah, it's going to be incredible. Yeah, so mention the Twitter a couple times. That's the best place to find this stuff. We tweet the links out every episode that we drop, whether it be a normal pod or the Slate show, which is what you're listening to right now. Also on Twitter, the 1009 podcast. Find us there. YouTube as well, is what I meant to say. If you want to watch our beautiful faces for some reason,
See my
Cash makes
reaction to
appearances every now and then. If you want to see Bailey mad at me taking his picks, that
also
happens
see
too.
me live react to McCaffrey.
Oh, yeah. If you want to see Bailey just take a long look at a certain object on his ceiling, then that will also be prominently featured on our YouTube. So, yeah, this will be posted, like always, with the normal pods on Apple and Spotify for your listening pleasure as well. But, yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah. Our official mascot did not make an appearance in this episode, so he'll probably be back at some point. But yeah, I ain't got anything else. We'll probably talk to y'all next. Some sort of week 2, week 1 review, recap, baseball recap. Might have a full-blown episode for you next week.
Yeah, that's the plan. But, yeah, we'll see y'all then.
Yep. Deuces.
Subscribe.